Brian here from quantlabs.net. Just wanted to do a quick blah 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 video. Some people seem to enjoy those. Anyways, first off, let me put out some caveats. If you're not a fan of my ums and ahs, be forewarned, there's lots of them. This is not working off a script. I'm not a professional. I'm just a schmuck trying to make some money through trading and programming and algorithms. So, again, I'm not a real professional at this, so bear with me. Anyways, so I've done some important demos of generating MATLAB DLLs through the Builder NE toolbox. I've demoed some test clients in C#, and it can be also done in C++. I've demoed those in the past, so we've got a very powerful arsenal of, let's call it purely software infrastructure tools that enable you to develop some very powerful algorithms, strategies, and models using, obviously, probably the best analytical, statistical type of tool, MATLAB. I've given my impressions of R. I think it's got a ways to go to get it as polished as MATLAB. But nonetheless, that's what we're choosing. Let me give you some other feedback on some other things. I've played with numerous open source trading platforms. I just played with another one yesterday called Algo Trader, or Algo Trading, or something like that. It's done in Java. It's very similar to something like ActiveQuant, which is basically a Java project. I didn't see a lot of a GUI type of interface to it. It's all done through Eclipse, done through purely programming and through jar files. It looks pretty powerful, but I'm a kind of guy that likes to get touch and feel stuff, and I like to see things, GUI basically, graphical user interface stuff. So I've got one that I've lined up pretty nicely with .NET. From my experience with both from Java and .NET, I just find that .NET you're up and running a lot quicker than in Java. There's a lot more setting up in Java, a lot more to maintain in Java. So for me to get quickly started, I like the C# as well as the ability to talk to C++ as well, obviously through DLLs. It's just a nice ecosystem in .NET. Not saying Java's bad, it's just, as I said, Java's just a little more legacy, a lot more involved to get things up and running, and just brings about more things to break. If you looked at just this Algo Trader and the number of dependable jar files, there's got to be 20 with like 3 or 4 of these major dependency jar files, which can just become just a massive monster. Nice thing with the .NET solution that I've got with MATLAB, the only dependencies are your standard assemblies, as well as maybe one for the MATLAB, the MW array DLL, and then on top of that you have your own DLLs that you generate from the Builder NE toolbox for MATLAB, and that's it. You have a lot less to maintain. It's just nicer to work with. In terms of deployment, I've done enough research yesterday as well in terms of looking for, we'll call them HFT type of servers. I mean, really they're just servers. I've found a really good company called Stellar Technologies. They look really good in selling reconditioned Dell servers coming off leases. There's one line that I really like called DCS, or Data Center Servers, custom servers. There's one that's very affordable, about $400 to $500 a piece. I've confirmed with a couple of reps over at Stellar that for the money, they're very fast if you're just caring about a processor and memory. So they have a 3-server special for $1,200, and they seem to be pretty quick. Xeon dual core and maybe 4 gigs on board, but they're very upgradable. Custom servers from Dell. And I've done postings on that, so I'll probably put an order on that. I've also reached out to a few other people that are local to me, namely looking at a development stack or call it an architecture. I've posted on that using something like a trading platform, my HFT one. It's not really HFT, but we'll just call it that just for fun. And then having the ability to use, through the DLLs that I've done numerous demos on, using the MATLAB Coder toolbox or the MATLAB Builder, any toolbox again. But you can still use, if you're wanting to do Java, you can do the same thing with the MATLAB Builder Java toolbox as well. I've done a few demos on that as well, and it does work. So that's where we're at in terms of the tools, the infrastructure, and what needs to be done with in terms of architecture. Also, using these servers, the big use of these for now is using them for to be part of a cluster for calculating some like large time series that probably get into the millions once they're sent over to MATLAB, and then use the MATLAB cluster of servers that I'm planning to use with these Dells to speed up the processing immensely, and that's done through the parallelization toolbox. Also, there's the distributed computing toolbox that's used to create that cluster. So that's one need. Looks like I've fixed, as well as again I've shown a demo on how to call MATLAB DLLs from within the platform. So again, I've closed off all those, and again, if speed is of essence, you can obviously use the Coder toolbox, not the Builder toolbox. And again, the Coder toolbox will generate your C++ code. I've done again shown videos on how to create the DLLs in C++ that can be called from a C# application. So I've shown demos on that, which is probably right now my most popular item on the entire site at quantlabs.net. So that's a really good architecture if you're going to stick with .NET. In terms of deployment, with these servers, it can obviously be Linux or Windows. I'm personally just going to stick with Windows, using Windows 2008 HPC. I don't think I've done any demos yet of the HPC in Windows, but it's very solid. From my research, it's on par in terms of performance with a Linux. I mean, it's not going to be as fast as a Unix box with something like a Solaris, which is disgustingly fast, or as the kids would say, sick. Yeah, it's just that's farther down the line. And even if I was to go down that path, I'd be probably looking at even going one step further, either using GPU or FPGA. But again, that is just something way down the road. I'm not even bothering to talk about that as an option. So what we got now is a pretty good infrastructure in place, deploying MATLAB, having the head node on a MATLAB server, and then have that talking through parallelization to a cluster of other MATLAB clients in a cluster deployed on HPC, which takes full advantage of all the scheduling, all the heavy stuff that you can do through a GUI on Windows HPC, which is really nice, and it can also be done through MATLAB as well. We're talking in terms of job scheduling and that sort of thing. In terms of Linux, let's just not go there. You'll be pulling your hair out pretty fast in terms of management, and just getting quick and dirty, and getting to a solution a lot faster using Windows. That's why I'm going with the Windows at HPC. So that's where we sit. Everything's in place. Everything seems to be working just fine. Except again, I'm still unsure on the cluster, but regardless of what platform I go with, it's still an unknown at this point. So that's where we sit there. In terms of strategies, I've now demoed I've shown the MATLAB script sets that I'm using from a variety of webinars as a base. That is done within MATLAB, and then again it can be called from a trading platform. It's pretty nice to work off of those sets. I want to work with things and build it from scratch. I'm just not there yet. It might take a while, but again, some of the webinars that I've seen show that you can build MATLAB M scripts using just the GUI and whatever functionality of whatever toolbox you're using, and you can generate MATLAB script files from that, which is kind of nice, and that's namely in the world of plots. So that's nice. And again, I'm always joking that MATLAB's my girlfriend. I'm spending so much time with it. It could make any girlfriend jealous, and there's truth to that. So there's just a lot of power from within MATLAB. But moving on to strategies now, because I'm using both the co-integration blended with another webinar on just basic technical analysis using moving average and RSI and some other stuff. Now we get into the difficult part. What I've talked about just before is the easy stuff. The hard part now is the value, the glue that makes this whole operation profitable and worth doing. We're talking about algorithms and the strategies. So I mentioned too co-integration and blending it with these technical analysis. You're going to be doing a lot of that. You're going to be doing a lot of we would call it I would definitely call it more of a hybrid solution of blending different strategies together. Obviously, you need to make them as fast as possible. And the other thing is, I need to, at this point, figure out how I'm going to blend or make a hybrid strategy and set of M script files between these two scripts that I've been using, one for co-integration, one for the technical analysis, which is really meant for algorithmic trading, and it just shows the power and ease of use of MATLAB and using the M scripting language to manipulate vectors and matrices very easily within MATLAB. So that's where I'm going. Is now I need to figure out the strategies, and I got to figure out how and where and why. But also I wanted to mention about where does one go to get fresh ideas on strategies? Where does one go to get knowledge or experience on what's going on out there in the industry? My solution is Bloomberg. I've scoured, as you know, I've picked up an iPad recently. I've scoured all the different iPad or iPhone apps out there in terms of just trying to gather some knowledge. These are my tips. I would recommend anyone to get an iPad for two reasons. First, if you're new on the math side or the programming side, the iPad with the iTunes U, with all these new courses coming online from large, highly reputable universities like Harvard, Princeton, all these other very high caliber universities, they're putting out courses, new courses on any types of math that you're looking for, algebra, statistics, anything. There's also some other courses that I've seen on developing algorithms within from a programming standpoint. So I'm going to plan to do those. Again, those are all free. That's the power of something like iPad. I'm starting to see why people are going 8 bleep for it, and it makes sense. Also, on the iPad, I'm starting to learn about the quality of media outlets. I'm rambling on here all over the map. Sorry about that. But another area that I'm finding is very important is a source of strategies and new ideas. One of them, as I said, is Bloomberg. Bloomberg has Bloomberg TV, excellent resource. I live and breathe that every day. Also, their magazines, namely not the Bloomberg Business Week, but I'm talking about Bloomberg Markets. In the back of those magazines, they have about 4 or 5 sections that talk about specifically strategies, be it forex, options, equities. They show all the different ideas that you can get in terms of strategies, some really powerful ideas. Obviously, it's going to talk about a lot of the Bloomberg terminals and all the data services that come with it, but that's not what I'm after. I'm after the ideas. And again, the nice thing about the Bloomberg TV is that they talk to a lot of industry specialists. They could be all the way up to hedge fund managers, big powerful players, even from PIMCO, and just where things are, what strategies they're using, and where they're making money. I'm using these as sources to generate new strategy ideas, and these are the things that are inspiring me to build new algorithms and new strategies. Again, I've checked out, as I said, some of the apps and the media outlets. I've checked out the Wall Street Journal. I've checked out Morningside. I'm not sure about Reuters, but all of them are do not compare on the slickness and the professionalism that Bloomberg gives. And the other thing, with the two things that I mentioned, the Bloomberg TV, it's free, live streaming. Pick that up. Get yourself a subscription as well for Bloomberg Markets magazine if you're into building strategies. Now, again, I'm meandering here. I know that I did talk to somebody again from Asia, who to me is probably one of the most knowledgeable insiders in terms of high frequency trading. I'm going to give you a nutshell of some of the things that were mentioned. Just starting out, if you are starting out, start with Forex and futures. Everything else is very competitive. Options, I think there's still opportunities there. I'm not sure what his opinion is, but it is a big boys game. You better put in some major capital to really make use and potentially profit from it. Also, another highlight I took away from this was that a lot of brokers are on their way out, meaning they are, I don't know if they're on their deathbed financially, but a lot of brokers could hit financial ruin. There's a clearinghouse that could be wiped out any day called Parsons. I can't remember the name of it, but something like that. And a lot of the big brokers are using this clearinghouse for their transactions. So if they get wiped out, you could lose, quite potentially your portfolio if these other brokers do get wiped out because of this clearinghouse. So be on the aware and on the lookout for that. They're saying could be turned into the next MF Global. Another takeaway: if you're new at this, I don't know if I'd say I'm new at it, but in terms of getting into strategy development, definitely new. Get involved, network with people. The cities that came up were all the big financial hubs: New York, Chicago, where I'm in, Toronto. There's nothing here. There could be. I haven't really delved into it. But get involved with a lot of the universities. See what some of the students or even the professors are doing. A lot of them are free. A good resource or two, obviously, Wilmot.com as well as quantcom.net or quantnet.com. Again, it's Wilmot. If you should know Wilmot, WILMOTT.com, as well as quantnet.com or quantcom.net, something like that. Yeah, it's quantcom.net. Sorry about that. But they have some great resources, no matter where you're located. If you're in Europe, North America, or Asia, I'm sure there's a lot of schools teaching this stuff now, and there should be some clubs or some kind of academic projects on the go you can get involved with, but that's something I really need to start looking at as a new way to start developing strategies. As I said, I've got the models, or not the models, but I've got the infrastructure now in place, so it's just now taking it to the next step, which is strategy development. So enough blabbing. Good luck with what you're doing, and I'm hoping to hear from you on any feedback you might have. Sorry about the ahs and ums. As I said, I'm not a professional at this. And now I'll shut up and end this video. Later.